Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone in the world, wherever you're at watching today. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Zwift eCrit series presented by CycleOps. This is the North American West region version 2 day for 6 laps, 37.6 kilometers or 24 miles out on the London flat course today. And we do have 34, it looks like actually 41 riders signed up amongst the men today. Does look like we've got a solid 6 jumping in to the race for the women. 1 minute to go. A couple more women might jump in quick to that race. Looks like it's going to be an all-out brawl though between the 4 or 5 that will be taken off in just about 52 seconds. But the men have gotten out on course already. Let's jump right into the racing action, as well as chat a little bit about what this series is all about. Also, if you would like to interact with the broadcast directly, you can do so by tweeting at ZCommunityLive, at ZCommunityLive, or go ahead and just add your comments on over at our Facebook Live post, actually, over at Zwift Community Live. So we are live over there as well, where you can interact with any questions or comments. We do have it working this time round, but you can tweet at us as well. If you do have any photos of your Zwift setup or you want to ask any questions about that, you can throw those over on Twitter as well. So as we do jump into our the riders heading on toward the classic course, actually, it does look like we have Basalts here actually leading things out of Canada here. And this is going to be a rider to watch out for if it comes down to a sprint. Frank Garcia is also there as well from Team Experimental. We'll give him a ride on because his team today has thrown down for 3 out of 3 for the win so far, actually, today. So the Europe eCrit series presented by Tax was actually won by Kim Little, followed up by Scotty Weiss taking the W in the East region for the eCrit series presented by CycleOps. And then the Central was just won by Casey Shum with a perfect attack with an arrow power up going into the sprint. So now the question is, will our work and Frank Garcia here be able to make it 4 for 4 today on the day? We do see the likes of ODZ showing up with some of their heaviest hitters though, with Larson in here. And I did see Brett Boniface show up as well. He was saying that he was not going to be able to make it, but bam, there is Boniface in the pack right now. One of the strongest we've seen out on course as of recently. I think he's won almost every race he's jumped into, besides I think one against Mr. Tim Cartwright as of recently. So definitely watch out for most aggressive rider usually as well. Brett Boniface coming out of Canada in the British Columbia area. So good to see a Brett out there today. Jay McCabe up toward the front out of the US of A. Coming from the USA, from the Western region as well, it looks like. So real quick though on the rules around this race, because it's definitely got quite a few things going on here for the full-on information. If you haven't visited Zwift.com/events and read through this yet and you want to get more information about this, here's everything you need to know over at Zwift.com/events. You can select one of these events, but here it is, the 2 different categories. The men's and women's are the A and the B categories. They're doing 6 laps today. It is a 5-race series through October 30th through the 29th every Monday. Top 10 North American men and top 10 North American women in the overall standings will be invited to a live e-racing final in January, so to determine where the location will be. And they are dividing the series for North America into 3 regions, East, Central, and West. And the top 3 from each region will be able to attend. As you can see here, here is the West region and the current states, as well as British Columbia that are currently states and provinces, excuse me, that are currently involved in the race here that we are watching right now. So back into the crit though, there is, oh yeah, power-ups are allowed at all times. No TT bikes. That is a little different than some things. And it's always going to be a crit. So on the London Classic, Richmond Flat, or Volcano counterclockwise. Results will be on zwiftpower.com. We'll be following that all the way around here. HR monitors are required. Riders producing over 5 watts per kilogram will be DQ'd and then reinstated after they have provided some matching performances from in real life on a strain gauge power meter. And the Strava data must be open. So there is the race information that so many of you I know I've been looking for. Already though, as soon as they hit the climb, Boniface is not leaving anything to chance. Immediately from the gun, attacks right from the get-go here. 9 watts per kilogram, 600 watts here. After the initial climb into this section of the course, backs it off a little bit here now, back into 5 watts per kilogram, steady all day long. And he is looking to create the initial gap right from the get-go. Now the question is, will Larson jump and try and get across to his teammate or leave it alone? I think Boniface is expecting somebody from the group to try and chase him down, but perhaps the tactic here will be to allow him to dangle off the front end of this pack. It does look like Gudino here coming down the straightaway now at 6.3 watts per kilogram, hanging off the back a little bit here. We'll give him a ride on now, coming out of, I believe, Mexico there. And it looks like Lynn here as well from the PTZ team here, 161 beats per minute, looking for a solo TT as he waits up for Zabo as well as Chung here as they make their way into their first lap out of the gate here. Now endlessly attacking now, 153 beats per minute. Good to see him coming out of the US of A. I gotta look up who is endlessly attacking, as I'm absolutely loving this name right now, and I want to know who it is that I need to give the ride on to for always attacking the group here non-stop. And I absolutely love the name there. 2.6 watts per kilogram currently coming from the Endless Man. Now he's used 1 arrow power up actually already so far. That is Nate Bush here coming out of the United States, 143 beats per 143 races, excuse me, and 299 watt FTP. It looks like currently, it looks like the last couple of races he's done, EVR America West race actually, with a win back on October 5th. So he can win races out on Zwift. Anytime you see 1 gold next to a name out on Zwift, with how many riders there are and how many difficult it is to take W's in these races lately, when you see a win, you know it's a rider who is going to be in the mix to the line here. Endlessly attacking now, looking like he's going to be able to maybe be within the mix here. He is within the top 20 for sure at this point, but Boniface already off the front has a solid 6 seconds. It has been brought back. It was out to 11 or so at one point, but it looks like he's not too interested in trying to hold on. 200 beats per minute coming from the man here from ODZ. Now kicking again around the corner. 27, 28 miles per hour. That's a very quick pickup in speed here. And now we do see the Melty Man here saying, oh, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to try and close the gap out to Boniface here. Brettag now here as well, coming out of Australia actually for WBR, and not actually a part of the series here, but Harmer from KRT looking to sit on the wheel and try and bring back Boniface as well as the Melty Man. Boniface out to 13 seconds. This is dangerous. You start getting to that 15 to 20 seconds, and if there isn't a whole lot of motivation in the group to close things down, it's definitely going to be a difficult day once he gains too much time here. Larson here now into 5.2 watts per kilogram, trying to close it down. The group does not have a draft on him, but it's being motivated at this point to close things down. Johnny Rocket on his second race of the day. He took third in the central race, I believe, just a moment ago, but he's back in it looks like, here for a double header. Now, I'm not sure what region he's from. I'm assuming it's the central, and he's just jumping in here to help out the KRT boys, maybe, to try and get them a result here. Jay McCabe now up toward the front. EP also out of Russia, perhaps residing in the US of A, but with that Russian flag. Berteg as well might be out of the US of A or North American Western region right now, and just identifying with that flag from his home country. We'll have to find out later here, but 8 seconds off the front. It is Boniface still on their first lap of 6. We do have social media integrations again, and if you are out there looking to interact, make sure to do so by tweeting, just like Casey Shum did here. This is a great tweet here, showing us the big screen. Thanks a lot, Casey, for tuning in. In the E-Crit West, going for 4. Got my feet up and ZCL on the big screen. Good to see you there, Casey, as always. Great job in the central race, taking that win. Perfectly timed attack. And you really nailed that one for sure. And so now looking at this, we also do see Kev Steven. Good to see you there, Kev, as always. One of my favorite viewers, always out there hanging out, cheering on ODZ. Casey Shump is getting some ice cream, and Rick Barbera says that Johnny Rocket is doubling up. Barbera, nice job in the last race as well, right along with Johnny Rocket. You guys killed it. KRT showing up in force for these races as well. Little background information. Tim not planning on doing maybe the EU series, perhaps. Monday's maybe not working for him, so we'll have to wait and see. Now, in and amongst the women there out on course here, we do have them starting up their first lap here of 6 now. As we do see Angie here now riding for Fearless out of Australia, actually, with Jay Reel there as well. I believe that is Jen. I believe. Let me just double check on the names here, but I believe I got that correctly here. She's got a couple of wins in the past, I believe. It is Jennifer Reel here, coming out of the United States. Actually, only 3 races out on Zwift, it looks like. She did the SCR Autumn Race Series, actually, back on the 27th. I remember seeing her in that, absolutely killing it. Nice job to her in that race. And that is 60th amongst the men and the women in that race, actually. I think she took first place, actually, amongst... Actually, no, Haley Wickstrom actually took first in that SCR series, but she was second place to Allison Kubota, I believe, in that SCR race. And good to see Jennifer out there hammering away. So currently sitting in second place, being chased down by a Winky. And then it does look like Katie's out there as well, out from the KRT team, actually. Jonathan Levy's wife, actually, out there. Looks like Katie hammering away out of Seattle, riding for the KRT team. Good to see Katie hammering away. And we didn't see John signing up, though. Is Mr. Levy? Oh, no. Yeah, I'm not seeing him out there, actually, in the men's race. Maybe only one Zwift set up in the house. So we'll have to wait and see if he does start signing up for the races. I believe he's probably commenting like crazy right now over at Twitch, like, this is what's going on, Nathan, trying to let me know. But Jennifer on the front here, right along with Angie. And then a lot of the Fearless names in there. Looks like Winky here, now 170 beats per minute right now. And let's go ahead and see what else is going on here. Angie here, or A Niji, maybe it's A Niji, excuse me if I got that incorrect. But looking through past results, no, it is Angie out of Australia, 35 races, Team Fearless here. And it looks like she's doing work here for Jennifer, perhaps. That's why she is showing up on the day. Hey, Winky here as well for Team Fearless. And it looks like Autumn Winky hammered away. Looks like maybe a triathlete. Definitely a triathlete on the Strava profile there. And competed in quite a few races in the past, looks like, month or so, but a new rider to the world of Zwift, it looks like, out here today. So solid results so far for Autumn, who is already sitting within the top 3, and she's going to be grabbing some points and punching a ticket to the in real life race actually in January. She keeps on showing up like this. And as you can see, boys and girls, especially for you women out there, make sure to jump out onto Zwift, because you got an opportunity here, it looks like, to grab some points, as there's not a whole lot of riders showing up for the women's races just yet. So encourage your friends out there, tag somebody in the broadcast on Facebook or on Twitter and let them know, hey, look, there's an opportunity here for an invite to be sent out to you. If you just show up to these races, grab some points over the next 5 weeks, and jump on in for the competition. So now at the front still, we do have Boniface with 17 seconds starting that second lap. And this has been the fastest start so far by far. And now Harmer here out the front here, and Larson being the good teammate, sitting on the wheel and just making sure he gets pulled right along. As soon as they catch Brett, bam, another attack comes right out the gun. Harmer sitting in now a little bit, allowing watts per kilogram come to the front. Now the other KRT rider here, Johnny Rocket, who's already taken a third place today, kicking again. Boniface, as he comes around the corner here, up into that 166 here, as he's looking to try and increase that lead. Now Melting Man sitting in from the KRT racing team now, but watch out for Melting Man here. Melting Tallow Brendan, always one to watch out for a sprint. Now Wakefield here as well, 10 watts per kilogram coming from the Canadian, kicking it up, it looks like, for a serious attack to try and close it down to Boniface here. 558 watts, 173 beats per minute as we look through here, and we do see Wakefield here really closing it down to Brett now, and some continuance coming on here. Johnny Rocket sitting in at 3.2, unable to close it down, 188 beats per minute. Larson from ODZ now looking to close it down. He's just going to throw some instigation there, and it might just close down to Brett actually because of this, unless he backs off the second he comes right on by. He does kick by, but then slows it down and holds the door, it looks like, here at about 4.3. Bertag now also just closes it down and then slows right back down. Boniface now 4.8 watts per kilogram, 28 miles per hour. Holding steady here. It's going to be about 40 minutes off the front at 4.5 to 5 watts per kilogram. That's what he's going to have to do in order to hold on to this gap. And every time he hits that uphill, he's going to have to kick here. Gilman here, 5.2 watts per kilogram. Cito, Cunningham there as well, riding for that draft team, that new draft team. His teammate, it was Leo, actually, with a solid second place to Casey Shum. Ken Cunningham better that from this draft team. Bikes and Beers kit is what they are using to go right along with their draft beer, it looks like here. So now coming through the broadcast with the social media integration, got a couple more things coming on in. Igor Zvaitov, hey Nathan, thanks for the great commentary on Central Race. No problem, Zvaitov, nice job in the race day. We were definitely in the mix. And he is saying completed Zwift Power profile, still not in the list of finishers. Interesting. We definitely saw you in there. And let me double check the live results, because perhaps it just needed an update there. Looking through, I definitely saw you come across the finish line there. I am looking through over at zwiftpower.com for the live results, and we'll see if I can figure out what happened there for you. Definitely contact. There should be a contact there under race information or at the bottom of the zwiftpower.com race somewhere. But yeah, I'm not seeing you in there either as well at this point. Now, there may have been some discrepancies for some reason around the result, and you'll have to contact race organizers to find out what is going on with it not showing up there. But we did know that there were a few DQs earlier, and maybe that has something to do with it. Did you have a heart rate monitor on, first of all? And second of all, were you on Z Power? Those would be two reasons perhaps as to why that is, but I am not in charge of those details. As a broadcaster, I show up and talk the hype around the race, and the race organizers deal with everything else. So it's the same thing as an in real life race. You show up and you usually wouldn't chat at the usually would not chat at the announcer about how the results are going. So I'm not a race organizer, and we get all kinds of chat at us actually all over the place on the different setups and all this stuff, like the messages that come through Zwift to Zwift Community Live. But we are a community organization that manages a lot of the broadcast for the community. Good to see you there, Caltech. Thanks a lot for tuning in over at the broadcast, as well as Carissa and Rob. Good to see all of you guys. Again, if you want to interact, is this the proper recovery for doing, and do we weigh in? We are seeing Casey Shum after taking the win. Nice job on that again with his ice cream recovery there. Loving it. And if you got more recovery food for us, we love to look at it and make us hungry, it looks like, as these racers were watching and working for their recovery food as well. Boniface now 7 seconds off the front, maybe second guessing this choice as Cito is chasing him down out of Japan. We've got Larson from ODZ now trying to hold the door here, slow things down a little bit. Wakefield and the rest are not having any of that. Again, Boniface 5.4 watts per kilogram here, 5.0. Trying to keep that pace as high as they can. 27 miles per hour here now coming from Gilman. Boniface now up into 30. Will they match the speed is the question as they hit the -3% gradient here. Gilman now up into that 30. 31 here from Boniface. 31 here from Cito. Now 32. So now the gap is going to start coming down because it's all about speed. Not the watts per kilogram only. It's about speed now. 31 to 31. Matched all day long, but at 7 seconds, and that's all you got. The rest of the riders here, 150 beats per minute. Garcia, 158. Rocket here, 173. Braytag into that 164. Cunningham 144. Harmer now. Melting Man 155. EP here, no heart rate. Cannot race actually for the finish. Cito, no heart rate as well. You cannot be a part of the results without a heart rate monitor, just so you guys know. You must wear a heart rate monitor in order to be a part of the results. Rick Barbera saying, here comes the blob. And as it's been known as recently, for those of you who do not know, it's a little bit of an inside joke, as it is inescapable once it gets you within its clutches. The blob is difficult to get away from. They're speaking of the in-game drafting from the groups, Pelotons out on Zwift. A lot of the racers think it's almost impossible at this point to get away. Matt Johnson's in there. Good to see you, Matt. And congrats to Casey Shum. It was a solid result there for him. But lots of racing to go, boys and girls. Still 4 weeks. 4 more weeks of racing, plus this one right here within both the Europe eCrit Series presented by Tax, as well as the 3 Monday night races with the North American regions presented by CycleOps here. So Scott Cunningham up to the front there again from the draft team. Boniface now caught. I have a feeling he's going to be sitting in a little bit here after being caught and being off the front for a full lap and a half, actually. He attacked before they even hit the first lap start, actually, on the classic course. And he's been off the front for a full lap and a half, actually. And now needs to maybe rest up a little bit, as I believe a lot of these riders have been getting a free ride from some of those within the teams that are the workhorses. Now the question is, will Larson counter 148 beats per minute? And M. Larson here might be the one they're actually working for within the race today. I'm going to take a look through here, see what his past results have been like in the last couple of days now. And it does look like we do have Larson, ODZ, and ODZ has been involved in all of these races so much as of recently in the last 2 races here. And 112 races here for Michael Larson. ODZ, 372 watt FTP it looks like. And his last win was in EVR Americas back on September 23rd. He took a 15th in the KISS Europe race, it looks like, on the 24th of October. A 5th place in XRS ZTR on October 3rd. And that's a solid result, actually, there. And we're seeing Michael Larson, he might be the one to be, they might be working for a sprint out there today if Boniface is unable to get away with his constant attacks here. But we are seeing 3.6, 3.5. Gilman now here, 166 toward the front. McCabe is there as well, 3.7, 186 speed sprint. Doesn't look like it's been too slow so far. Now, Garcia, always one to be watching out for in a sprint. If Frank Garcia comes to the line with you in a sprint effort, it's always going to be a tough day on the bike for anybody. So watch out for him. Definitely looking to try and hang on to the group all the way through, and we'll see if our work can put the work in for him. But it looks like he's off the back, actually, 116. So Garcia is isolated now at this point, and perhaps we'll see if he's able to hang on to the attacks as they kick up and over the top of some of these climbs here. Larson now 7.0 watts per kilogram here, 156, 157. Garcia is the last hope though here. It looks like for Experimental to take a 4 for 4 out there today. They've already got a 3 for 3. Larson will give him a ride on as he attacks here. Here's the attack we were looking for from ODZ to try and light things up again. And it looks like on the bottom of the pedal here, this is like beyond try with the middle of the pedal or the middle of the shoe with the cleat there. And he's got like the pedal in the heel. That's a full-on nothing but hamstring, it looks like there for the power now as Larson kicks into 6.4 watts per kilogram. Up and over the top. No orange numbers just yet. Here comes his teammate. Larson was the instigator. Here goes Larson, and Boniface and Melting Man. Let's see if Cunningham can get on that wheel and get a break moving now, as we do have Weigan there as well out of China. Garcia now hanging on just barely. It looks like 172 beats per minute. Harmer there with KRT. We are seeing some arrow power-ups being blown though now, as we do have Jennifer Reel from Fear there now up ahead. Trying to chase down on G in there as well out of Australia. Fearless still dominating the women's race, as you can see. Boniface now 5.0. Larson 5.8 watts per kilogram. Holding the door again for his teammate here. As things do break apart, will the Melting Man close things down, or will ODZ go off the front? If two ODZs get away, and the likes of Larson, who I think has a little bit more of a freight train on him than Boniface might, Boniface being a lighter rider who's got sharp kicks, I think Larson might be more of the driver, domestique type, that he could go with Boniface and work for him to the line. We'll see if this can happen, because it's a 5-second gap now. Two ODZs out the front. This is going to be dangerous for the field. There's not a lot of riders in there that can do the kind of work that these two can off the front. This is a super, super strong attack now. Strong group out the front. The Melting Man realizes what's happening here, throws down that arrow power up, 6.7 watts per kilogram. Cito tries to go. Garcia knows that the issue is at hand as well. Grabs Cito's wheel, looks to grab a draft all the way to the line, to the wheel now of Boniface and Larson. The Melting Man here gets on terms there, knowing that he needs to just sit on, allow Harmer to come right on back along with Draft and the rest of the group now. But it looks like it's all shut down. The ODZ boys have been caught, and they don't want to bring KRT with, so it's going to calm right on down. Right in with the women though. Here we go with them, and it is nighttime for the boys, and let's go to the daytime. Sunny classic course, it looks like, out on London. Angie here now off the front there. Jennifer there chasing her down, it looks like, 55 seconds back. Boniface kicking again though right behind her in the men's race. So there's Jay Real. A Winky still sitting in third place. It looks like Katie now sitting in fourth. She's gonna punch a ticket maybe over to the live event in January. We'll see if she can do so. She's got a solid fourth place under her belt for sure now, if she just hangs out to the finish line. Solo TT all the way to the line though. Katie, push it for the workout and try to chase down maybe some of these girls who might have put a little too much out there too early now. So that is the current situation within the women's race as they're making their way around the course here. Angie here from Fearless. Lots of Fearless showing up out on course. Good to see them. Awesome new women's team, specific team there are a lot of women specific teams launching. If you want to find them, make sure to check out the Facebook groups. That's one of the best ways, is find those who are on the Facebook groups and give them a little contact there. Let them know you're looking for a team, and especially if you do so within I believe there's a women's specific Facebook group, actually, women's Zwifters group, actually, that is the ROH, I believe, team or group. That is the place to go for sure. And you will find, if you just put a message out there, I think they'll jump on and be like, hey, right here, here's your team. Watch out for my friend Russian Missile. Alexander EP is coming through over at the Facebook comments actually right now from Igor. So we'll definitely be watching out for EP. He was in and amongst the front group for quite a while. He's about 2 seconds back, it looks like, sitting in right now. We have found him in that lava kit though. So we'll definitely be watching out for him, Igor. Thanks a lot for your comment there. And you say he is a Russian missile. So watch out for this guy in the sprint. Speaking of EP, let's actually take a look real quick and see what his results have been as of recently, if he's been able to take any of these sprints out on Zwift, actually. So EP, Alexander EP. Looks like 24 races coming from the Russian Federation here. And it looks like he was bumped into the A category recently. But in the WBR 4-lap took a win. Took a win in the ZHR Masters, actually. So it looks like it is all about the sprint, just like you said. For 15 seconds, he can throw down a solid 985. So I would definitely watch out for him if it comes to the line, but he's got to make it to the line in order to challenge the likes of Boniface and the rest, who are going to be tacking from way out, trying to drop off the sprinters, most likely not wanting to come down to that final drag race. Again, it's going to be all about those aero power-ups as well. We've got 2.5 laps to go. 2.5 laps to go out on course here today. I know, excuse me, I think maybe 3.5. I will count it correctly, as I do know exactly. We finished on 24, so we missed the first one just barely because we were off on the lap counter. So we're definitely going to get it right this time. Looking through, we got a couple more comments coming on through. Go ODZ coming from Matt Johnson. Matt, good to see you still chilling in the broadcast. Nice chase to Brendan coming from Rick Barbera, who's cheering on his teammates, as it's always good to see. Carissa, good to see you joining in over at the Twitch feed, as well as the ZCL feed here. Some GOAT Team X coming through over there. So if you are hanging out over at the other Twitch feeds and other places, good to see you there. Carissa, what is on the menu for recovery? You and Mark, great job in that race to Mark as well. And it wasn't too surprising. I saw your comments over in the someplace, and we definitely wasn't too surprised. It's he only races out on Zwift, though. That is a fairly amazing result if that's the only place that he has any experience in racing, going up against some of these riders now. And we actually have a live lifting stream going on right now from one of our ZCL broadcasters, actually, Ashley Bergstrom, over on her Zuskana page. That's awesome. Good to see that. I just got a message from her about that. Fitness streaming is growing over on Twitch. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we are live. For those of you who are over at the Facebook feed or the YouTube feed, the live streaming platforms is where I highly suggest you go for all of your ZCL content, because there is an entire fitness specific community that is growing over on Twitch, and we actually are broadcasting to that fitness community. If you do live stream then as well on Twitch, we are going to have some incentives out there for you guys to be live streaming more and more and more as a part of that growing fitness community over on Twitch. And so if you click on the fitness link down below, you should be able to see all of the other streamers who are streaming fitness right now, actually. And I do see quite a few here actually going through doing some fitness stuff, actually, including the ZCL stream at the moment right now. So and make sure to go ahead and hit that follow button for anytime we do go live, for push notifications to your email, as well as the app on your phone. If you do download the Twitch app on your phone, the largest live streaming platform in the world right now. That is Twitch actually is going to be the best place to view as well as grow the community for Zwift and fitness there. Casey Chum saying, let's see here. Go team fearless ladies. Carrie Grossman, Talentino is there. I did see Talentino in the race. Talentino, are you still out there? I saw you log in. You were right along with Angie and Jay Real. I did see Katie Levy out there with you as well. And I think you were chasing those girls down, I believe. Looking through for Talentino out there, but solid job out there today, Talentino. Carrie Grossman, I believe, unless that was a relative. Perhaps. Jeremy Dono says, looks like some fun. Good to have you there, Jeremy, in the broadcast as well. And Chess Gold got the best of me. We'll hope to see you back next week. Sorry to hear that you are sick today, Carrie. And we hope to see you out there soon. So, back up the front, though, we do see it is calmed down. The first initial attacks, I think, have taken a little bit of the wind out of the sails. I think they want to calm down. And a lot of times we do see attacks that go full on, but they are again and again and again. And I think because there's so much on the line. We've said this in the last broadcast as well. There's a lot on the line with these races. There's, actual invites and live event that you are taken to for the series. And because of that, I think the riders are a little more timid to throw their chips on the table. There's a little higher risk. It's a little bit of a higher buy-in to, to these races, essentially, with how much is on the table here. So Johnny Rocket now making his way to the front here, trying to chase down that attack there from Larson. Larson going again, trying to loosen up the legs there, perhaps for his teammate Boniface now. Boniface now sitting in, following up the KRT boys, knowing that they are going to be one of the threats. I've seen Scott Cunningham throw down some serious efforts, though, from the draft team here, though. So I'll be watching out for him. His teammate Leo, again, was able to take that second place in the last race here. So be watching out for him to try and better that and take a W out there today, actually. Garcia still sitting in, able to make the groups here. Frank Garcia makes it to the line, and they allow that to happen. It's going to be a difficult day, as I know he can throw down 1,500 plus watts to the line for quite some time there. Harmer now going from the middle of the pack there, using some of that speed. And there's an attack again. Here goes Wakefield now trying to follow it up. It is actually Boniface here who's attacking again. Does not want that sprint finish, I believe. Boniface here being, again, the most aggressive rider as usual out here. It is going to be 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. 29 miles per hour currently. It is starting to stretch out a little bit here. Nobody getting dropped off just yet. There goes the Melty Man right on through, past Boniface now, off the front. Allow it to dangle there, and the pack is going to bring him right back in. And Carrie Grossman is saying, good to see you there, saying she will be back next Monday. Lots of points up for grabs, Carrie. I don't think you're out of it, that's for sure. Lots and lots of points up for grabs, as you're going to have some girls who are going to be grabbing somewhere between 20 and 15 points, but there's only 4 out on course right now. So there's going to be some spots opening up, that's first. So make sure to let all your friends know, or I don't know if you have the motivation maybe to let your friends know, as those spots will start getting filled up more and more. But still, on the front here, this is 3rd place, I believe, here. A Winky here, trying to chase down Jay Real as well as Angie there. They actually, Jay Real, Jennifer here. This is a solid effort, because Angie, she had about, I want to say, a minute at one point. And now Jay Real, Jennifer here, 3.2 watts per kilogram, keeping it super steady. 172, 178. 177 beats per minute right now. She's got about 3 laps to go, a little less than 3 laps to go now at this point. She might be able to throw down and bring Angie back and actually take that 20 points from her. So we'll see if she can bring this back within the fold here. So Jennifer Real and Angie, both from Fearless here, battling it out. Winky here sitting in 3rd. Also, Autumn now from that Fearless team. Kara T being represented here by Kate Levy now. A little ways off the back there from the KRT team now, sitting in a solid 4th place so far. She's going to be grabbing a solid 16 points, getting some ride-ons, it looks like there. Let's give them all some ride-ons as they come through for the women's race out there today. Back in with the men now as they take the left-hand turn into Buckingham Palace Way. I'm not sure what this road's called, actually, to be honest, but we know that the Palace is on our right there as they go by. Frutos is here, a lap down, and sitting in amongst the pack as he's got the fastest sprint, though, out on course, but he suffered forward, it looks like, as he sits in amongst these boys at a solid 3.6 watts per kilogram. No heart rate, so unable to actually grab any points on the day. Bretag's here, 166. Harmer's there as well. Gilman. Boniface still off the front after the attack. Out of sight, out of mind. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we are seeing where they are. They're right around the corner. They can't actually see him at this point. Now, as we look through here, we can just see them come around the corner right now. He is totally out of sight at this point. A full-on 19 seconds now. Boniface out to 20 seconds. Are they going to see this man again? 8.3 watts per kilogram. Continues to attack off the front now. Absolutely demolishing this group here. Boniface putting his stamp on this. I cannot wait to see this guy race in the real life. Now, it's not solid, it's not settled yet, but if he keeps this up and he can hold off on the front here, we might see the likes of Boniface in the real life event here. But Gilman has something to say about that here. He's at 7.5 watts per kilogram now. Larson trying to chase that down to make sure that Boniface stays off the front, and they just close that right on down, playing the good teammate there. Now 7.0 from Gilman, now out of the USA in that ZA kit. We've got Scotty Weiss, world champion last year, winner of the East race today, jumping in here. Great coverage all day long of the E-Crit series. Happy Halloween, everyone, at ZQ Live at Go Zwift. Go Team Experimental, cheering on his director sportif, Frank Garcia. I would think, because they're going for a 4-4. But is Frank still amongst the group after these attacks? 23 seconds, and he's going to have to rely on the group to pull him back in. I don't think he wants to risk anything off the front at this point. He is going to be full-on sprint mode, though, with 1 lap to go. With 1 lap to go in just a moment here. Cunningham now sitting in. Gilman now making that chase. It's up into that 5.4 with Cito on the front now. And still Boniface 4.5. Now Cito, though, does not have a heart rate monitor on and is being slightly disruptive then, to be honest, at the front end of this group right now. And Boniface has the largest gap we have seen amongst the riders as a solo attack off the front. And so with a rider in and amongst them there with no HR on and unable to actually get a result in the race today, a lot of times you have to have a little bit of self-awareness about how you're impacting things amongst the races out on Zwift sometimes there. And so with no HR monitor, maybe it's malfunctioning though. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. But no, we have seen 0 beats per minute for, I think, the entirety of the race so far there. Hopefully Cito can find a heart rate monitor and get a result from this race today, because you got to read through the race rules. No heart rate monitor, no result out in these races right now. 26 seconds with 1 lap to go. He's got to put it all on the line. Arrow power-ups, Gilman on the front. It's all going to be thrown down to bring Boniface back in the fold. And if he gets caught on this final lap, will there be any energy left to allow this definitely most aggressive rider on the day to try and take the W? Not sure it's going to happen, though. Harmer is there from KRT, sitting in, not making any chase. Cunningham from Draft. There's actually not too many riders working together at this point now, as all there is KRT with 3 riders in the group, though. They got the Melty Man. They've got, who else is it? Johnny Rocket is there. The Melty Man is there. And there was one other in there as well. Harmer, Johnny Rocket, and the Melty Man. That's who's all there. 3 KRT. And I think with that many teammates in and amongst the group here, it's the responsibility is going to most likely be on them to close it down, only because they're the only ones that could work with some sort of conjunction of each other and sacrifice for each other on the front end of this race, because the rest of them are most likely racing for themselves and the points that are on the table. There's still 19 points up for grabs at the front end of this group, and perhaps they all said, okay, Boniface is gone, we'll race for second place at this point. I don't know, 27 seconds, 5.0, Harmer on the front there, 3.0, allowing things to continue to go away. That's the question though. Who's going to win? What do you think? We are seeing a prediction here coming from Jonathan and Deborah Blake here, saying go Melting Man, cheering on Mr. Brendy Melting-Talo here. So we'll see if Brent Melting-Talo can make it happen here as well from the KRT team. You know he's got a solid sprint there to the line. We've seen it time and again. Larson there from ODZ holding the door there for Boniface, still off the front here. Around the corner already, kicks again. He's got to get right up in that 30 miles per hour immediately though. 179 beats per minute. This is absolute suffering. You know his legs are so full of burn right now, just so much lactate, just filling them up, but it's just 5 more minutes of his life at this point. What can he do to the line? And Casey's saying, I want to join and pull Frank. Someone close this down. Casey is yelling. He wants the sprint finish to the line, but up and out of the saddle, it is Boniface now on that Tron bike. Johnny Rocket saying enough is enough. KRT knows it's time to close the gap. It's only 2.5 miles to the line at this point. Will they be able to make it happen here? Johnny Rocket on the front now, kicking 6 watts per kilogram. There's the group trying to chase it down. You can see, look at them spread out at this point. It's a straight line, just trying to hold on to the wheels that are right in front of them. Brake tag now coming up. Garcia sitting in there. Now KRT still on the front though. Now coming around to the front, it is going to be Jill Jam now, or Gilman here, right along with Larson. Now Larson slows it right on down. On the front again though, we have Harmer, KRT. Larson's there as well. Then it is going to be Cunningham on the front end. And McCabe is still in there from the US of 199 beats per minute though, so it's going to be a difficult day as they take that left-hand turn. It's most likely not going to beat up in the 210, probably right up at the max at this point, just to hang on. 30 seconds, Boniface still in the front. 30 seconds is nothing for a pack and Zwift if they can work together and throw down big numbers. Not sure it's going to happen though. And now we've got Casey Shum again. You're the only here to help Johnny Rocket. Casey Shum is cheering on Johnny. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious because Casey, who races for Team Experimental, wants Frank to be in the sprint and says, go get him. Instead of working for KRT, work for XRS. Man puns, go get him. Rick Barbera, who races for KRT, says, you better go get him, Johnny Rocket, because it's all on the line. 30 seconds is the difference at this point. Wakefield is there now on the front. Cunningham sitting in. Nobody can bring back Boniface. It's a race for second unless they do something now. Out of sight, out of mind. It's the classic off the front. Nobody can do the work. Everybody reserving for the last kick to the line. I have not seen any arrow power-ups though in quite a while. So Boniface now 5.1 watts per kilogram. 4 now off the front. It's still 30 plus seconds. Those numbers are not correct now at this point. Here goes Boniface up and out of the saddle. 6.2 now. One last kick over the top here of this, just 30 seconds. That's all he's got to do to try and hold on to this gap, but he's not going to have orange numbers at this point. He's fading 181. Me and him beat at a very similar max heart rate. He's already been at such a high heart rate for so long. He's not going to be able to kick at absolute max, most likely. When you've already been at a very high threshold for a long period of time, you usually cannot kick again into the 190s or so if you do max out into that 190s or so. Now we are seeing orange numbers. Here comes Cunningham. Here comes Wakefield. Garcia's still in there. 4.7 watts per kilogram, playing it so smart, just hanging on to the wheels. This guy knows how to work Zwift. That is for sure. He knows how to hold a wheel. Just grabs every wheel he can right now. And full-on sprinter mode is on its way from Team Experimental. He's still on the wheel now. Larson now 3.1. Gilman is here as well, 4.2 in that Zwift Academy kit. Double B beats the blob here, says Rick Barbera. Pure suffer, Igor saying as well over at the Facebook post here. Now we are seeing though 34 seconds. Brett Boniface beats the blob is going to be the headline of the day. And Cunningham, 36 seconds. It just keeps going out. It does not look like it is going to be closed down at this point. What a result here for Brett Boniface to ride away from the likes of these boys and girls. He attacked hard and then held it steady. That looks like he held it super steady right around threshold the entirety of the time through. And now we are seeing Gilman here, though. He took a win in EVR America West race. Watch out for him in the final here. XRS took a second as well back in August, so I wouldn't count him out for a W. But at 40 seconds and already within the last half a kilometer, it's almost celebration mode at this point. A lot of times it's still suffering, but at the same time, you got a smile on your face. The feeling of knowing victories right there, barring any kind of crazy mechanical. You can take that W, and you know it's all said and done. It's just cruise away to the finish line at this point for Boniface. 43 seconds up now. Angie, now here we do see her attacking here up ahead of Levy. We actually lost the front of the race for a second there. Apologies, everybody. We're going to try and get right back in them. There they are. All right, McCabe here now. We are seeing at the front, leading things out, 203 beats per minute. Oh my goodness, absolutely demolishing himself. Brett Boniface takes the W across the line. Nice job to him. 181 beats per minute. Strolls across the line. As we do see the Melting Man now starting to lead things out for KRT. Here he goes. There's the arrow power up and the kick. Trying to do full on Casey Shum style, but he is already on the front, not from the middle of the pack here. And we do have Garcia sitting in. Where's the kick there from Garcia? Garcia's going 9 watts per kilogram, 10 watts per kilogram. Here's Garcia, but now Cunningham. It's going to be Cito as well, but he can't take the W. Garcia only has a drafting power up, and Cunningham has the arrow. And here comes Melting Man. Melting Man's on the front. It's going to be Melting Man. It's going to be Melting Man, but no, it's EP. Melting Man ahead of the Russian EP, followed by Frank Garcia in fourth place. Wygan across the line coming out of China. What? That was neck and neck. EP by just a hair. Just a hair. What a sprint there to the line. Looks like he was able to make it happen. We're going to have to wait for the official results there. It was Melting Man by a hair over EP. Melting Man by a hair over EP, excuse me. That's what I saw on the replay. Those where we need to see. Where's the clip of that? Who clipped it? Let me know. And what a result there for Melting Man. Excuse me, that was a mistake on my part there. I believe Brandy Melting-Tallow took it. Now we need the official results from ZP, but it was right to the line between all the racers there, it looked like. And solid result. And it was Brett Boniface, Melting Man, Alexander EP, and then it looks like Wygan and Frank Garcia, all with the exact same time to the line there for the top 5. All at the same time to the line for the top 5. What a result there. Melting Man takes 19 points. A full 28 seconds up. It will be Brett Boniface there. Alexander EP, followed by Wygan, Frank Garcia, Michael Larson, Scott Hunningham, Sean Harmer, Cito there out of Japan, Brett Wakefield, Joshua Bretag, Sam Gilman, and then James McCaig, who's all the way up into 207 beats per minute, boys and girls. That boy beats like a butterfly, that's for sure. All right, now making their way to the line, it will be the women out here today. We are seeing it is Angie for Fear. I think still winning this one. Jay Real has faded a little ways back, so it looks like Angie going to be coming around for one more lap out on course. Going to be taking the win for Fearless. Then Katie Levy's going to have, it looks like 2 laps to go, followed by Jennifer Real with 1 lap to go as well. If you're new to the world of Zwift, as we hang out for the women's finish here, I'm going to show you exactly what Zwift looks like. These are real people on real bikes, putting out real heart rates and real power. That is on either a smart trainer, a strain gauge power meter, or a speed sensor communicated to their bikes, from their bikes to their computer, their Mac, their iOS device, and soon to come Android, actually, which is in beta right now. So real quick, here is what that looks like. And I'll give you all the information on the eCrit series as well. just remember to stop. And there are a few in the community that seems like don't understand how to do that. Recently, Andy Jackson with that 24-hour record-setting attempt out there. But this is the Zwift Crit Series North America, presented by CycleOps. Earlier today, we did have the Zwift eCrit Europe series start kickoff as well, presented by Tax. So really great racing going on. Lots of awesome results. And we will be here every single Monday, actually, for these series. And let's do a quick little recap, actually, of today's racing. While we get the women's race finishing up out on course today. So we did have the Europe, as we said, the Central, as well as the West, all out on Zwift today. The Europe eCrit series was won, not the series, but the race, the first race of the series, was won by none other than Mr. Kim Little. Tom Hargreaves, actually, from Zwift HQ, took second place, riding for Noon Sigma. Jurgens Templar, actually, from Race WBR, with the third, Scott Rickard. And then Arvis Vikströms. They're all going to be getting 20 to 15 points. All the way out to 20th place, it does look like Tom O'Canlan was able to throw that down. All the teams out of Europe here showing up in force. Nice job to all of them. You see these little badges? That means Zara approved. For those of you who may be wondering, that means that they have put out over 5 watts per kilogram for the duration of 20 minutes at some point, and then did get verification on those numbers with a real strain gauge power meter. So that was the Europe results earlier this afternoon. Then we did have the North America's East, which was won by Scotty Weiss, actually. This is a mistake with Q Jones there. So Team Experimental, again, taking the win there, followed by Eric Losell, Adam Zimmerman, and then Bruce Bird. Then it would be Dwan Garan with that 5th place out there today. It does look like Peter Custer and Andrew Childerhose able to take down those top 20 spots there. So that is the results there. Justin Pierre Ficati and Chris Beck, ODZ. Solid result for them within the top 10, and may be able to better that as we get along in the E Series. Again, it is 5 races from October 30th through the 29th, so plenty of racing to go for the series and the standings, which we will go over later in the week as we go through our broadcasts. Casey Shum, Greg, Leo, Johnny Rocket, Tim Sullivan, and Patrick Moriarty are top 5 there in the Central. Solid job still. Team Experimental, so strong today. Matt Johnson, Rick Barbera there, KRT there, sitting in 13th place. Solid result there. Stephen Brock's running out that top 20 with that 1 point there. Looks like Albertus Rowley. Nice job to see him out there throwing down out of the Netherlands. I believe he is local to us, though, here in Wisconsin. So far in the West race, we did have Best Boniface, as we were saying, Brandy Meltingtile, Alexander EP. Team Experimental, they're still getting represented with Frank Garcia within the top 5 so far here. So solid result there from them. Now within the women's category, we do have Jennifer making her way around out on course here. It does look like Angie here now about to take that left-hand turn up into the White Hall for her final half a lap here. Jennifer Reel trying to chase her down. A Winky sitting in 3rd place, it looks like, here with Katie Levy here now making her way to the line for 4th place. Let's go ahead and give all these women a ride on as they make their way to the line and battle it out for these points out on course. We'll go ahead and give Angie a ride on. Jennifer's got a ride on from us as well, which does give that encouragement on, lets them know that we are watching and that we are really cheering them on out there on course here. Fearless, absolutely love seeing these new women specific teams. That is for sure such a cool thing to see, and a great way to grow women's cycling through this online cycling platform here. Taking a look over at our social media integration. Awesome job, Brett. Go Team ODZ coming through from Justin Wagner. Good to see Justin tuning in to the broadcast and hanging out with us here. I bet you ODZ's in force watching right now. Kev Stevens there as well. Awesome to the Melty Man as he took out that sprint for the finish. So lots and lots of fans out there for each of the teams. Also coming up this week, something to pay attention to, everybody. We have something I'm going to be announcing a little bit tomorrow and doing some social media hype around it. Is we have a feature on Twitch's front page, actually. And we are going to be doing a special broadcast for it. It's going to be during the SCR race. And we are going to have some riders on board. And if you would like to be a part of those riders on board, make sure to contact me. Let your friends know who you know like to do the SCR race. We're making it a hard race. It's going to be on the jungle loop, we believe. So far, I think it's going to be on the jungle loop. And something to chat about there is that we are going to do the race, and then we're going to do an introduction to riding Zwift with myself riding Zwift and as many of you as we can get to ride with me. We'd love to have a gigantic group of the community that's been around the live streaming of Zwift on Twitch. Come out and let yourself be known. Say hello to the whole community. Come to the live stream on Twitch and have a blast riding the jungle loop with me and showing everybody what an awesome community that this is. I'll get more updates about that, but it's essentially a front page feature for Zwift and our whole community, our whole Zwift community live, to show and introduce us to that entirety of the largest live streaming platform in the world right now. So I'd love to have all of you join me for a chill ride around the jungle loop to have some fun and kill it out there, and show us, you know, what cycling made social and how much fitness can be fun through this online game that we have all met each other through. It's pretty awesome, you guys, and let's make it happen. So Wednesday, SCR race, super hype, super awesome, followed up by a ride with Nathan on the jungle loop is what we are looking for, I believe. So, all right, let's get back in with Angie as she is finishing out her final half a K here. 500 meters to go for the W out there on course right now. Angie riding for Fearless now out of Australia. Now, my question is that an identification with Australia, but riding off of the West Coast? Or is she unavailable for the points? That would be the question on the day. And will she be able to take the series points, actually? So we'll have to see if that does work out there. Jennifer Real now going to be throwing down out of the US of A, maybe taking that 20 points or at least 19. Unless Angie is actually on the West Coast. That's what we'll have to find out. But nice job to her from Fearless there. Killing it right now. 13:48, holding on to that sprint jersey as well. Katie Levis is going to be taking that fourth place as long as she finishes it up. And that will be your winner in the women's category there. Nice job to Jennifer. That's going to be taking second out there today as well. All right, last chance for any social media integration, any interaction here, questions, comments, anything like that. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow for the KISS Europe race, as well as our Racer Focus with Ian Anderson tomorrow morning, or actually this morning for a lot of you who are in, if any of you are in Europe watching, or afternoon if you're over in Australia. So thanks everybody for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, hit that follow button on one of our streaming platforms, like button over at Facebook, or subscribe over at YouTube. Our VODs are always available over at YouTube if you want to watch back. Again, highly suggested that you watch at the streaming platforms, though, for the best experience. We'll see you tomorrow for KISS EU. This has been a full day of racing in the new eCrit series from today through the 29th of November. Great job to all the racers today. Absolutely amazing job. Huge, monstrous efforts from everybody all around. And as always, everybody, ride on.